11 over 18, 18 skunks, 127 fish, and 69 anglers. So those are the quick stats for the day. I will go ahead and say that for the first time in years, your standings will not be posted tonight. Ryan did not get to fish today because of the reschedule. He is at a family wedding. So standings will be posted tomorrow at the earliest and possibly on Monday. And that'll be your Neogenics AOY, your Tournament of Champions, and your Rock Outdoors team divisions will all get posted at the same time. We're going to start today with somebody who I couldn't get in touch with. He's probably sleeping, but we're going to go ahead and start with the Small Bass Award. This angler didn't make it in the podcast tonight, or whatever we want to call this, the remote weigh-in. And our small bass this season was presented by Sugar Creek Coffee Roasters right here in Charlotte. And Nick Huddleston is going to go home with $130 today. Oh, somebody's trying to enter the studio. Whoever it is, you're just going to have to give me a minute. Nick's going to go home with $130 today for his 9.75 incher. Absolute giant. It's funny. Nick has won this award numerous times. I'm not sure if he fishes for it or just gets lucky, or I guess unlucky maybe, but congrats to Nick going home with a payday today. I did have one more angler that did not respond that I couldn't get in, so we're going to go ahead and talk about that as well. Mr. Paul Roberts, who we had on, or I had the opportunity to be on his show last week, is our elite winner today. I'm not sure he even knew what he was signing up for, but Paul's going to go home with $337 today, and Paul was in 15th place, and he's going to go home with a nice payday today. So congrats, Paul and Bass and Brews podcast, for taking home some nice hardware and a pretty solid payday. Over 5 times your buy-in today. Good job. All right, so let's get to our caching anglers today. Again, they're all backstage. They're going to pop on screen here to talk to you. So in 8th place, with a total of a whopping 58 inches, going home with a free entry into our event next Saturday here in the Charlotte region, Mr. Home Lake, Brian Fitz. Tell us about your day, man. You're muted, buddy. And I can't unmute you because you muted you, so you have to unmute you. Perfect.
How about that? Are we there now? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So, big struggle for me, man. I started out in an area I thought was going to probably produce. It produced in the past for me, especially this time of year. And at 10 o'clock, I pulled the plug on that. I think I had a 14-incher and went to completely the other end of the lake and, used the next, I guess, little bit that I had left to catch 7 more fish. And one decent one. I caught 5 fish out of one tree up in the river in a little area that I had that I've fished before. Caught all my fish on a half-ounce football jig from Jewel and quarter-ounce Jewel shaky head. And that was the 2 baits that I caught all my fish on in the river. So it was a good day overall. Definitely tough for me, though. I mean, this is definitely not what I expected this time of year, and something that was a little shocking to me, especially looking at 10 o'clock in the face and going, oh, my God, we're in trouble. So
you text me. You let me know you were checking out and going to a new ramp. I was kind of laughing like hometown guy's going to go hit his little honey hole and see if his midday fish moved up or whatever was going to happen. But I watched you progressively catch 12 and 13 inches and then a couple culls late, and you jumped up into 8th place, and it earns you a free Carolina Clash event next weekend. I'm not sure if you intended on coming or if maybe you'll come now out to the Charlotte area and visit us after we visited you. But
sure.
Do you think you'll be here?
I don't know. We'll have to see. You know what? I may be there. Unfortunately, I think I've got another event that the hurricane actually rescheduled for next weekend. So unfortunately, I don't know that I'm going to be able to make that event, but I do appreciate it. And definitely, like I said before, I think we texted about this. I'm definitely going to be a big part of Queen City next year.
Well, that's good to hear, and we appreciate it. And thanks for being here. Thanks for jumping on, and congratulations again. We'll talk soon.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Later. All right. So huge shout out to Brian. I forgot to ask him. I think that might be his first live event with us. He's been doing really well on the online monthlies. So again, congratulations to him. In 7th place today, barely squeaking him out with 59.25 inches. Going home with a smooth $100. We're going to give him a second to jump in here because I had to kick him out. Actually, you know what? We're going to take a break for a second. Our Rock Outdoors team division winners are extremely tired. So I'm going to bring them on screen and we're going to talk to them for a second. Because my guess is they probably didn't think they won anything with their lousy 61.75 inch team limit today. But I could be wrong, but I believe you are the only team to put in a total of 4 fish. So you're going to go home with $150 today, and you're each going to get a nice piece of hardware. So congratulations. You two probably drove the furthest than anyone. And I know $75 each isn't going to even cover the gas it cost you, but congratulations. Tell us about your day.
Go ahead, Frankie.
Yeah, it was rough, man. I mean, I called you because I was confused on when the thing ended, and you told me flat, you're like, dude, I saw your fish coming in and looked at location, and I said, where did this dude put in? And I knew I was going where no one else would go, and nobody was going to really do the work that I had to do to get to that spot. It was rough, and I just gambled. I mean, when I left the ramp, there was, I think, 4 guys there. All the other 4 guys went to the right, and I went to the left. And I'm like, oh, snap. I said, I'm either screwing up really bad or this might work. And
you weren't anywhere near the ramp. I can tell you that much.
Oh, no, I had to go. But, yeah, I mean, I caught the first one on a shaky head, and then I never got bit again for about an hour after that. I just went, y'all know I like to whack. I just finessed the dog pee out of them.
Were you fishing shallow? I imagine if you're throwing a wacky rig, you're pretty shallow.
I was banking. All my fish came in 1 to 2 foot of water.
I'm trying to pull up the standings here to see exactly where you finished for the day by yourself. But I'm struggling and I didn't want to click out of the tab. Here we go. So Frankie, not only did you get the team win, but I know today was big for you for points. And
yeah, I needed.
You got yourself a top 10 today. You finished 9th place.
Get it, Frankie.
Yeah, that's pretty big for your year. So hopefully that's worth a little bit more than your $75 that you won. And this is a big win for you guys getting into the team TOC. So there was a lot on the line for both of you today. And congratulations, Chad. If you'd like to at least say something so we can maybe stop looking directly.
Yeah, no. My day was it was total opposite of Frankie's. I caught 2 fish. I watched possibly the person who won it sit there and slay them right beside me. I had boats trying to run me over. I had other kayaks trying to cut in between me and where I was sitting. And it was just a nightmare day for me. I got into it, and the guy that was sitting next to me said, "I can't believe you didn't get in his boat and kick his." And y'all know me as not a man that gets mad that much. I was cussing this guy out. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's
unfortunately,
okay. Hey, I got to caught 2 fish, and me and Frankie, we took home the team. So
Chad, you ended up with 30.75. You finished in 24th place today. Probably not a terrible day for points, but probably not the day you were looking for either.
No, it wasn't. So I was around him. I just didn't. I got outfished today, honestly, and he outfished me, and several other people around me outfished me. I just didn't. I wouldn't hold my mouth right, I guess. So
well, again, congrats, guys. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for traveling across both states to come fish with Queen City. And hopefully we see you both next week.
Yes, sir. You'll see me.
Later, guys.
All right.
I'll see you, Frankie.
Yes, sir.
Good deal, buddy. Later.
Right. Take care.
All right. Jumping back up into 7th place. He came back in the stream. I know he's pretty with it with technology, so I was able to kick him out and knew he'd be able to get back in. So StreamYard, even though I upgraded, is only letting me have 10 people backstage total. So this process may be a little wonky moving forward. But Mark's here. And Mark, you've had 59 and a quarter. You had the home lake pressure on you today. I know you really wanted to do better than this, but a 7th place finish in Queen City is always good. You're going home with $100. And tell us about your day.
Yeah, so I think most people know, being that it's the home lake, especially being out here in Raleigh, and it's really the only time I probably get to truly pre-fish anything. And it kind of came back to bite me for the first 6 hours of the day. I had spots that I'd been pulling fish off of for the last couple months, regularly, consistently, decent size, and went to those spots. I rotated through them about 3 times just to see if it was a timing deal, and it was nothing. And I was like, well, one thing I know I can always count on is an afternoon riprap bite. So I went to the furthest part of the riprap where I figured the fewest people had fished, and fished up towards where everybody else was fishing, and lost one that was an absolute football. Probably maybe 20 inches, but probably better than 7 pounds. I mean, it was just a blimp. I've never seen coloring on fish in the lake like this either. I had a super vibrant lateral line, and that came off, and I literally thought my day was done, and stuck it out and just kept casting, and fortunately lucked into a couple of 13 inchers, one 13 and a half, got a 15 incher, and then the boats started coming in for the tournament that launched out of the ramp that I went out of, and 2 of them got right in front of me and fished up the riprap in front of me, but none of them went down as far as I did, and I caught my 17 3/4. With one of them watching, which
that was a big fish for you late. That was a big fish.
Yeah, that made the difference for me. That made my day. And then getting to chat with some of the other guys who had, tough days, started out okay, and it made me feel a little bit better that I, try to do something that was different than what most people are going to do, because so many people are going to come to a lake and fish riprap when they don't know the lake. And I waited until everybody fished it, and then I went and fished it, and fortunately lucked out with 4 decent fish that, on a tough day size wise, made the difference. And I was happy I was able to scrape together what I did, because 6 hours with nothing and the home lake pressure, it was eating at my heart for sure.
Well, being able to get it, not only a top 10, but a 7th place finish with under 60 inches is very rare around here, but it was a grind. We knew it might be, and you pulled it out. So congrats. And I imagine we'll see you next week at the Clash.
Yeah, planning on that.
If you need a place to stay, let me know.
All right. Got to secure, hopefully secure a place in the TOC.
I think you're sitting pretty good, and these 270 some odd points here are definitely going to help you out. So congrats on a big day. Congrats for not completely bombing on your home water. And we'll see you in 6 days.
All right. Thanks, Vinny.
Later, buddy.
Later.
All right. Moving up the list. He's been hanging out for a while. It might sound like a club in his house, but in 6th place with 60 and a half inches, going home with $150, Mr. Hammer Time Vang. What's up, baby?
Not much. It was, yeah. So today was, I knew that, with the fish going on, transitioning and all that, I knew it was going to be tough for me. So, with me sticking with my go-to shaky head, that's what I call my fish on today. I caught 5 fish, landed 5 fish, so I could fish clean, which is always great to hear.
Yeah, it's a big thing for sure.
Yeah,
especially on a tough day.
Yeah, so I actually went to Falls Lake. I haven't been there for 5 years, since 2012, something like that. Not 2012, but 2017. Yeah. And I know when I went there that time, it was during pre-spawn, so the water was nice and level, but with going there today, it was about 3-foot drop.
Yeah.
So go in there. My first, my first fish, I fished at a point, and there was a log. So I actually pull out my biggest fish out there. So I'm like, hey, that might be the key. But apparently, everywhere all the logs were basically out of the water. So I'm like, geez, there's no logs.
That was some of the reports I was getting, that it was bare bank, real low water with, shelf walls almost. And and I had a feeling that some of our guys who are used to fishing some shallow structure and docks were really, really going to struggle today. But you did great. I mean, 60.5 on a tough day. You got paid to be here, and you keep your TOC dreams alive. And you're having a pretty good year, Mr. Bass Champion.
Appreciate it.
See you soon. I'll see you next week.
Most definitely.
Good deal. I'll see you there later.
All right, man.
All right. Top 5 in any QC event is tremendous. And I'm not sure if this angler knows these bodies of water very well, but in 5th place with 61.25, going home with $250, Mr. Jim Janicek.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey.
Hey, can you hear me?
Buddy?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. But yeah, actually, Falls is like Jordan. I fished Jordan today. It's like my favorite lake, honestly, man. I hope we go back. I've had some epic days out there with giant fish. I've actually seen the biggest bass I've ever seen in my life on Jordan last year throwing a frog. But yeah, today was tough. The one thing about the Raleigh Lakes I've noticed is they're very sensitive to pressure. So I think everybody pretty much noticed that probably about noon-ish, everything worth fishing was probably hit a couple times. So that's one thing. The rotation's pretty big deal there. But just threw a spinnerbait all day on laydowns, grass, windy grass, and kind of the bluff walls you were talking about earlier. So it's.
Did you catch a bunch of fish?
I caught probably 7 or 8. So
you probably had a better day than most.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I actually caught one on a robo worm early that I culled. But yeah, the last one, the biggest one I caught was, I think I had like 13, 14 minutes left. She bit on a laydown, brought it in, second cast, threw it back in the same laydown, hooked another bigger one, came off, and is what it is. But and had some service issues we talked about. I think I got the last picture in with like 4 minutes to spare. So that was fun.
Hey, and I appreciate you being patient with me while I was dealing with what I was dealing with. So thank you for that.
Yep. No, the glare was there's a bluebird, sunny day, the glare, and I didn't mean to, it was
it happens. It happens. Overall, overall the club took really, really good pictures today. I think I penalized, I want to say 2 fish. Yours would have been a third, but obviously you were prepared. You had a second picture, and it all worked out. So congrats again, $250, 61.25 inches, top 5. So you get a frame certificate. And will we see you next week at the Clash?
Oh yeah, man, of course.
Of course. I love that answer. Thank you, buddy.
All right, yep. See you later.
So if I haven't said it, if you finish top 10 today, you will get a frame certificate. If you're coming to the Clash, I'll have everything for the whole year there. If you're not coming, I can email you your certificate. You can print it out, or maybe I'll see you at Santee, or we can just work it out. Getting into the good stuff now, in 4th place with 63 inches, going home with $375, Mr. Lee Hodge. Lee, I'm not sure you're here. Oh,
hey, what's up, Benny?
How are you, buddy?
I'm all right, just tired.
Yeah, I hear you. I won't keep you long.
Yeah.
Congratulations on a 4th place.
Thanks.
And tell us about your day.
Well, this is the first time I've fished falls, so we didn't get no pre-fishing. I don't know what I was doing there anyways, just looking at maps and just trying to hit areas that looks good. So, long story short, it's just trash fishing all day.
Sometimes it works out.
Yeah.
What were you trash fishing with, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, so I was just throwing, your typical shaky head and bass jig and swim bait.
Nice. Did you catch a lot of fish today?
I caught like 10 fish, but only 6 was the keeper, so I caught 2.
Nice. So 6 measurable fish. It's getting you a nice payday, $375, a good batch of points, which I think you're looking for moving forward, looking at the TOC, yeah?
Yeah,
What do you plan on coming out next week to the Clash?
Oh yeah.
Good deal. Well, congrats again, and I'll see you next week with your certificate.
Thanks, man.
Later, buddy. So trash fishing all day, no pattern, catches 6 keepers and gets himself a nice check. This is why when I tell you guys all the time that anybody can do this, Just show up and put a bait in the waters. If Gary's in here, it's just 4 bites, baby. It's just 4 bites. In third place today, we'll bust out some real hardware for this one. In third place, Jordan and Falls, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, with 64 1/4 inches, going home with $640, Mr. Pastor Mike. What's up,
Thank you,
buddy?
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Tell us about your day. Except me hanging up on you, but tell us about your day.
That's all right. Hey, you got to change that background music, man. I thought I was supposed to preach a funeral or something.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I got to find something in the middle. Me and you two were having a rough moment.
No, yeah. So my week started Thursday morning. Got here about 5 o'clock. I got to Raleigh about 5 o'clock, and I pre-fished in 2 days, probably over 22 hours, and had 3 bites.
Oh man.
So my last ramp Friday evening, me and Chad went to a ramp, and he caught a small one on a shaky head, and I decided to go there. So anyway, I showed up at that ramp this morning. Me and Joey Randall was there. He went one way, I went the other way. I was throwing a chatterbait down the riprap on a bridge. And then once it got daylight, I could see the shad flickering, and they were like inch long, man. They were little things. So I had a feeling that the chatterbait was too big a bait to be throwing. So I went to a little small flat-sided crankbait, and caught first keeper, 13 1/4, I believe, 715 or 720, something like that. And then a few casts later, I caught a 19, and I mean that fish absolutely choked the crankbait. So I knew I was fishing the right bait. But 2 casts later, I made a stupid cast and bounced it off the bridge pile and broke the bill on it. And it was the only crankbait that only crankbait I had. So anyway,
you had one crankbait with you?
Well, I got other
one.
crankbaits, but I mean, I'll tell you what it is. It's a Fritz size 5, but it's a baby. So it's very really hard to throw on a bait caster, and
yeah,
real
absolutely.
tiny.
Yep.
But it was working. So anyway, I left the bridge after a few hours of fishing, could never get a bite going again, and I made a long run in the back of this pocket that had a river channel running into some standing timber and 3 foot of water. And so I spent the rest of the day in there throwing a spinnerbait, and it took 6 hours to find 6 hours to get another squeaker. I think it was 13 1/2. And I had 3 fish at that time, and I said, well, I'm going to head on back to the ramp. It was like 2:30ish, because I had an hour run back. But and some told me just keep throwing the spinnerbait, and I think at 2:53 or 2:54,
yeah,
I submitted that 19 or 18 1/2, which bumped me where I'm at now.
Yeah, man. Well, that's an awesome never give up story. You made some on the water adjustments that obviously were huge today, giving you that 19 incher, telling yourself never give up, giving you an 18 1/2 incher, and all that stuff gives you 290 points, $640, a guaranteed fish off spot, all of which I know are very important to you. I don't know exactly where you're sitting right now in TOC, but I know you need a big event.
I was 24th before the event, so I don't know where I'm at now.
Cool.
But I really didn't have a lot of expectation this morning. Honestly, I honestly thought I was going to get a 0. It was that tough of fishing.
Yeah.
That's the first time I ever been to that lake, and it's It really is different. I mean, there's no docks, there's no, there's not a lot of riprap.
So
And there
definitely
was
different.
no topwater bite. I don't know if anybody caught any on topwater.
I heard a few people caught a couple fish here and there. I know that topwater during the week was supposedly on, but I didn't hear much. Honestly, I didn't hear much from anybody today, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
It was a pretty smooth day. Smooth days, nobody has to talk to me, so it was good.
I did catch like a 22 3/4 inch bowfin.
Oh wow.
That I thought was a giant bass.
Yeah, they'll do that to you.
But they're different in that lake. They're really a greenish color.
Yep.
They're not the typical black that you see at Santee.
Yeah, Santee's black water. I mean, it's a swamp. I actually have a citation on the wall right there of a bowfin from Sharon Harris that I flipped the fluke over to, not knowing what it was, and he just crushed it. But yep, definitely a nice color fish out there.
But I'm definitely exhausted.
You're done. You got your hardware, you got your points, your money will be there tomorrow. Congrats.
Hey, Ben, thanks for all you do, buddy. Thanks for a good trail, and I really enjoy it, and I'll see you next Saturday.
Good deal, brother. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. So we had some battles at the top today. These next two anglers, somebody's going to go home with 1,500, somebody's going to go home with 1,000. And I'm going to bring both on and really hope that neither one spoke to each other today so we can make this maybe a little fun. So we got Mr. Justin Finger and we got Mr. Adam Fillmore. Really hoping you guys don't really know each other, haven't texted each other, have no idea what happened today. Adam sent me one of the funniest texts I think I've ever read after a tournament. He was literally cracking up at the softball field. And I guess it's all going to come to life right now. So before I tell you who won and who was the first loser, Justin, tell us about your day today.
Yeah, so I'm from up here, but I actually did not pre-fish a single time all year, and I fished a bunch of tournaments. I'm a high school teacher, so I don't have a lot of free time, and I have a 1.5-year-old. So I drive over the lake a lot, so that was helpful. So I knew both lakes were 3 to 4 feet down, and I like to fish shallow laydowns, which is what I do all spring and summer, and they were not there. So I decided to just focus on riprap all day. So I was just throwing a crankbait all day long. And probably my third cast, I had a good one hooked on, and it shook off. And then 2 casts later, same thing on a crankbait. And I almost changed out the crankbait, but I kept throwing it. And 2 casts later is when I caught my big fish of the day, which was really early in the morning. I caught that 21.75, and I knew with 4 fish that was going to be a big help for a good limit. And then it was just grinding, throwing that crankbait on the riprap until my arm was sore all day long.
So, treble hook fishing, obviously it's 50-50, right? You're going to do your best to have the right setup, the right rod, the right line, reel. At the end of the day, we're going to lose fish on treble hooks, but you stuck with it, and that's pretty big fish. That probably makes Adam a little nervous. But Adam, tell us about your day.
Well, it started out with
it started off, somebody pissed you off because you had 70 inches in like an hour.
It wasn't me. I was I think Chad kind of filled this in earlier. I was worried I was going to have to help either the boater get back in his boat, or I wasn't sure what was going to happen. But like he was saying right off the bat, we had some company. And on the second cast, I hooked my 19 3/4, and he was still having a conversation with the boater. So I didn't even net it. I was kind of half listening, half fishing. I boat flipped it and was like, oh, this is a pretty good start. So caught my fish early. I heard it was tough up there. I've never been to the lake before, so it was all new to me. Generally, when I go to a new place like that, I like to fish my strengths, and I knew that the crankbait bite up there is a real thing. So spent the last week getting hyped up about it, and usually that always ends in disappointment, but at least for about an hour and a half today, it worked out for me. I talked to a couple people, Chad and a couple people on the phone that were in the tournament, and they're like, oh, you're so lucky you got them early. That was the longest day of my life trying to catch one more big fish. I really felt I needed to get rid of that 15 and change, just because I know what's in that lake. I mean, there's been multiple 30-pound bags come out of that lake. It's nuts. So,
Did you say where you were?
Jordan. I was on Jordan.
Okay. Justin,
But
did you?
Yeah, I was on Jordan also.
yeah, so it was interesting. The start was interesting. It was, I don't think I've ever met Chad in person. You know, we had a little
Sorry, you had to.
we got the same birthday, we found out. You know, we got in that little tit for tat joking around on the page there. And when I heard how he was talking to that boater today, I had flashbacks to Baden. I'm like, you know what, this guy, we're the same person. Like, so anyways, yeah, it was a good time. Everybody that was around me was pretty respectful, other than the guys in the boats. And I mean, anybody that knows me, I mean, I come from that world, so it's really weird. Like, it's a weird dynamic for sure. There's not a lot of respect for guys in kayaks, and it's a shame. But everybody in kayaks, we commuted pretty good together today, and you know, Chad was real cool, and like I said, try to leave some fish there for him. And but yeah, no, it was I like that place. It's the irony is I cried about going far away to you all year, and then, you know, go and have probably arguably one of my best days fishing all year.
I mean, regardless of what I say here in the next 20 seconds, you're top 2. So this is your best finish in a trail event ever.
Yeah, and finish wise, yeah. But the second day at Santee sure was a good time. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun on Santee.
That was a lot of fun, for sure.
I am gonna start with drum roll. Should I hit YouTube and get the drum roll going? Mr. Justin Finger, you're gonna go home with second place and Big Bass today. You're going to take home a total of $1,300. You're going to force me to ship 2 pieces of hardware all the way to the east, where you probably have the voodoo doll of me and Queen City logo, pinning it every time we talk about this event. But it's awesome to see a local boy in the top 2, somebody who doesn't get to fish with us very often, somebody who, you know, you and I have been in talks for years, fellow teacher. So congrats again, second place, $1,300 with the Emerald School of Excellence Big Bass, and you can have the floor again if you'd like.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to you for coming up to our area. Thanks again, also working for the Bass, working all the clubs together. Like, I only started tournament fishing 2 years ago, so I've done CKA 1 year, CCKF 1 year, and now I kind of did everyone this year. Try to hit everyone. I did the Santee Hobie event with you all as well. I think I finished 30th out of 200, which I was happy about because that was a big event. So just thanks for coming up for everything. And last thing is Carolina Waters is a local company that makes apparel, and a few of us in the central North Carolina are sponsored by them. So if you're looking for stuff for North Carolina-based apparel for kayak fishing or fishing in general, just check those guys out.
Cool, man. Good shout out. Check them guys out over on the eastern part of the state or central part of the state, whatever you really want to call it. And you know, Justin, you and I spoke a little bit. You knew my commish director goal was 100. Obviously, we ran into some scheduling issues and hurricane issues and maybe just Queen City issues. But, you know, there may have been enough interest to maybe do a one-off or a two-off event out there and throw some money at it. So we'll see what 2023 brings. But, again, congratulations. We'll talk about getting you your hardware. And you want to come visit Charlotte next week? We got an event.
I'm busy next weekend, but thank you, and congratulations to Adam.
Thanks, man.
All right, Adam, it's your time, baby. You got that big dub. I literally, Adam, that text you sent me, I was dying. Obviously, we're not going to say everything that it said, but I was hysterically laughing.
How accurate was it? How accurate was it, though?
Dude, 9 times out of 10.
Dude,
9 times out of 10.
This is that one.
I am going to take the stage from you for 1 second before I give it back to you. But Mr. Brian Fitz, I will text you my address. You are going to send me a signed $5 bill because Adam took first place today with 70.75 for $1,500, and Justin Finger had 67.25 for second. And Brian owes me a little side pot action, but that's a nice big old plaque you got here, Adam.
Nice, man. Nice. I was actually the last one of those you gave me was what, 2012? Does that sound right? Yeah, I found it out in the shed the other day. That's the last kayak tournament that I won.
Well, that's the last one you won, but you took home some wood hardware last year.
Yeah. No, I've done okay, but man, and we've had this conversation. I'm a lot of things. I talk a lot, but I try never to get arrogant when it comes to fishing because I see what it takes to win a tournament, and it's never just skill or what you know. It takes a lot of luck, for it to go your way. So, like I said, finally got a little bit of luck today. You know, I could have been in Chad's spot fighting the guy in the boat, and Chad could have been catching fish today. I mean, really, there's a lot of outcomes that could have happened today. So, yeah,
well, you know what? Sometimes things happen for a reason. You were probably a little pissy with me last month when you missed registration, and I tried to calm you down a little bit.
I was mad. I was mad at myself. I wasn't mad at you. I promise.
Well, you're gonna take it out on me. It's naturally that's what happens.
No, for sure, dude. That's what you're here for. I mean, that's what you're here for.
But you secured a TOC spot today.
Sick.
As long as you fish 7. So I don't have the standings in front of me, but I imagine you'll end up with 7. So
I'm gonna fish next. I'll be at the next weekend for sure. I don't after last weekend. I think the next time I go to Santee, I'll be taking a bilge pump and taking all the water out of that lake. So
mid-November though.
Dude, I don't know.
I think it'll be a different game. I mean,
I'm not gonna say I'm not going. I'm just saying. No, I mean that lake does get better as it gets cooler. I mean, all the lakes are tough right now. It's that, like I said, it's that transition period. Fish are doing all kinds of weird stuff. So I'm sure I'll be down there. Like I said, I have a love-hate relationship with that place.
So how many have you missed so far? Because today was 8.
2. I missed 2, so I can only miss one more.
Yeah, you just need next week and you're in.
Yeah, but I'll probably still go to Santee, especially like I said, if we can get a couple guys to split a place down there. That's usually the funnest part about those road trips. I hate, like I said, I drove up this morning. I left. I was laying on the couch at like midnight last night, and I was debating just leaving and sleeping in the parking lot. And I did that at Hartwell, and I just like being there because I panic that I'm not going to wake up and then I'm 2 or 3 hours away from where I got to be. But I ended up sleeping until about 2 and then drove up there. I think I left the house about 2:30 and it was a hike, but it's not a bad job.
Should I redo the 2023 schedule and travel as much as possible now?
Dude, go to every lake I've never been to because so far I'm batting 100.
Have you been to Clarks Hill?
No. So
this is your first Queen City championship in 8 years, correct?
Yeah, I think this is really the first year
I know
participated. Time, man, the time commitment for me. I mean, the situation. I mean, it's always been a time issue for me. And this year I really wanted to focus on kayak stuff. Unlike you, the Hobie stuff didn't go quite as well as I would like to this year. I hate that I missed a couple of them that I wanted to go to, but like I said, I really enjoy it. You guys do a great job. You always have. I mean, I've pretty much seen it from the beginning. I've seen it from the beginning. So, like I said, I hate that it took me this long, but there it is. There it is.
Hanging in my garage. That logo. For those of you who have no idea, we're reminiscing a little bit here. Adam was one of the first friends I had in the kayak game. One of, if not the first supporter of Queen City ever. So Adam, has a strong foundation here with the club, and I'm not going to go ahead and say things like without Adam we wouldn't be here, but you do
the work. Hey, you do the work.
What we are. So
yeah, no, you definitely I mean, as much trash as I give you, I will always shortstop it saying, I mean, everything you've worked for sure. There's never a lack of effort when it comes to you. So, I mean, like I said, it's been cool watching it grow. I mean, for me, it was kind of, it was something I always wanted to do. It's funny because I got into kayak fishing saltwater stuff, even though I was a regular avid boat bass tournament angler. So like getting into it, I remember the first few guys that I were around this area that were really big were like Shelly Efrid and Joey Sullivan, which I think Joey fished that. I kept telling myself, like, this dude's gonna, like, this is the dude.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, it happens. If he came down here and we went to Lake Wiley tomorrow, I'd have 0 12 inchers and he'd probably put up a set. I mean, that's just, dude, it's just part of it. And then when fishing's tough, sometimes it's not always best to fish on a lake that you like because you try to do things that but I'm not going to speak on what he did. But those guys, I know those were 2 of the first like bass kayak anglers that were really popular, and obviously Drew Drew Gregory and stuff. So it's cool to finally dedicate a season to it. I'm probably going to do it again next year. Definitely fish some Hobies. And like I said, the schedule looks good, so probably do it again next year, man. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I had a good time. Everything went pretty smooth today. I was worried about my camera. I never fixed it from the other day, so trust me. I had an extra phone with me, like that, my old phone, so just in case, but I never had to use it. So, but yeah, it was wild, man. Caught all my fish early. Kind of the same situation as Mike. I had one. The funny thing is, I had a plan of what I was going to throw, and I'm very stubborn when it comes to that, and that's what I throw. And then when I got there, I noticed there was a lot of shad, so I kind of switched up the crankbait I was throwing, and I just looked down, and it was literally stuck in the mat on my kayak. The other one, I only have one other one of that, and it was in my truck at my house last night. I'm like, I'm not even gonna. I've never even thrown that bait. I'm not gonna throw it. And it was just, dude, I literally pulled it out of the sea deck on my kayak and tied it on, and second cast caught that 19 3/4, which those fish, that lake has the healthiest fish. Every fish I caught today, I caught 5 total. And every one of them was just a freaking tank. I mean, I can see how these guys are cracking 30 pounds up there, because those fish, very reminiscent of Yakima lakes. I mean, they're just fat, like just
healthy.
They're super healthy. They eat really good. So, I mean, I
weird, but dirty water, nutrients
I know.
in the water, right?
That's good. That's when Wiley used to be good. That's what you look.
Yep.
I mean, we'll say it till we're blue in the face, but they're going to keep cleaning the water up. So, but yeah, I didn't move far today. I kind of stuck to the same area and panned out. It was I don't know if it was because I was tired or because I really had a plan, but we'll just say it was because I had a plan. And yeah, worked out. I'm glad it did. My nerves have been shot since about 8:30, just because, I mean, obviously I don't ever look at the board. I hate looking at the board. I absolutely despise the live scoreboard. I hate it.
And then I tagged you. I didn't tag you.
My biggest thing is my mental preparedness when it comes to fishing. Like, I can cast and know what I should be throwing, but keeping your head in the game is the hardest thing in fishing. And dude, when you know what everybody else has got, it motivates some people. Other people, it just spins out, and I think I'm one of the other people. So glad it worked out. I mean, there's a lot of really good fishermen. I mean, I know 60 was a 69 that we had today.
Yeah.
By QC standards, that might be lower, but that's a ton of. I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yeah,
I mean, there might be 2 other trails in the whole state, boat and kayak, that pulls that many people. So, I mean, anytime you can go out and compete against guys like that, and girls, it's a tough win, no matter what, no matter where you're at, no matter how good you think you are or what kind of pattern you're on. It's always hard to finish it. So, glad I did. Didn't really lose any fish today. I did set the hook on one, and my line broke, but I was fishing some nasty stuff, and I knew it was coming. So, but yeah, no, it's a good day.
Well, again, congratulations. You punch your ticket, Clarks Hill, in about a month and a half, early December, South Carolina, Georgia border. First place would be in that $5,000 range, depending on how we finish the year. I'll see you at the Clash next week. I'll have your plaque. And thanks for being here, brother.
Hey, man, thank you for all you do.
You got it. Well, that wraps it up, folks. Event 8 of the record-breaking 2022. We have 2 events left. The Carolina Clash next weekend, which for those of you who are listening is Lake Norman, Mountain Island Lake, and Lake Wiley. You can fish any of the 3. The ramp list is in play. We are having our weigh-in at the Wildlife Club like we usually do. We'll have food. We'll have raffles, all the good stuff. I'll have plaques for the year if you've missed out. And then November 19th, we head down to Santee to wrap up the season. I figured there will be a handful of guys fighting for TOC spots. What better way to do it than on a body of water that's going to give up the biggest fish that we catch all year long? So we'll end down there in Jurassic Park. We'll send some people to the TOC. We'll send some people to the fish off. And we'll wrap up the 2022 season down in Georgia and South Carolina. So it's been a blast. Thank you all for being here. I'll get those payments out. Some of them right now. Some of you I have to collect W-9s, and we'll go from there. If anybody needs anything, let me know. I'll be home tomorrow. And those of you who popped in behind the scenes, I appreciate you for being here. I think that went pretty smooth for the first time, and I'm really still loving StreamYard. So I'm going to end before we hit that 60-minute mark. And everybody have a good night. Thank you, Native Watercraft. Thank you, Academy Sports and Outdoors. And thank you, everybody who is on our banner and on our jerseys supporting Queen City Kayak Bass Fishing. Have a good night, everybody.